Hi, this is Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I sure am. Oh man, it's been about 3 months since I made an actual card video. I've been on John Mangini's channel. Each week we do a deep dive into some vintage sets, and I'm having a blast doing that. One of my favorite things to do each week. And I think tomorrow night we're going to do a live on Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And look forward to that. If you want to, check it out. We have a good time. But today, I picked up something recently, a cool item, a Joe DiMaggio item. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to show you some Joe DiMaggio cards that I'm not sure if I've shown before on my channel. And also this particular item. So a little background with Joe DiMaggio. I live in the Bay Area, grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I'm really familiar with San Francisco. And Joe DiMaggio grew up in San Francisco. His dad was a fisherman, and he fished in the bay there, where Fisherman Wharf is. And Joe didn't want to follow his dad's footsteps. He wanted to follow his older brother Vince's footsteps and become a baseball player. So Vince in 1932 played for the San Francisco Seals in the Pacific Coast League. And at the end of the 1932 season, they were short a shortstop. So Vince asked the coach, hey, my younger brother here, 17-year-old, can play shortstop. So the last 3 games of the season, Joe played shortstop for the Seals. The next year, 1933, Joe moved to the outfield. And during that 1933, at 18 years old now, the 1933 season with the Seals, he had a 61-game hitting streak. A little trivia question, that the pitcher who stopped that streak was actually the son of the great Hall of Fame pitcher, Big Ed Walsh. So Ed Walsh Jr. stopped the streak. Now, the item I picked up is a very cool photo of Joe as in 1933 as an 18-year-old here. You can see that this photo was taken from a distance and up above. Probably the photographer was in the stands. So you can see it's kind of looking down at Joe from a distance. And that's the key with evaluating this particular photo. So a little background is I originally saw this photo before it was evaluated by PSA. And the particular dealer, who I totally trust, is an expert in photos, deals selling photos, determined and sold this as a type 1 photo. Okay. It was eventually evaluated by PSA, Henry Yee, who's another expert, and it was evaluated as a type 3 photo. Okay. And the reason why Henry probably thought this was a type 3 photo was because of the clarity of Joe DiMaggio here. I'm guessing that's the reason why. Now, which one is correct? I'm not sure. We might never know who's correct because they're going to use the same photo printing. Okay. It's 1933. The same photo paper. Now, type 1 would be from the original negative developed within 2 years of when the photo was taken. A type 3 is from a duplicate negative within 2 years of when the photo was taken. Okay. So the clarity's not there, but again, this is 1933 from a distance up above. We may never know who's correct, but I saved quite a bit of money on this, about $400, because of PSA evaluating this as a type 3 and not a type 1 photo. Um, these guys at PSA, Henry Yee knows this stuff. You know, you get these people that we always see these videos of these youngsters, these newbies evaluating $1,000 cards, $10,000 cards, and you know they're making nothing, and they've been working for PSA for maybe 6 months, and their people are, you know, going by what they say and paying big time money for a 10. Well, this is an example of two guys I believe know their stuff, and they just have a disagreement. Like I said, I've never seen this exact photo before. There's, you know, you see a lot of photos that, you know, there's a million different duplicate photos are made of you know, Babe Ruth or even a Joe DiMaggio over and over, type 2 photos, type 4 photos, but this is the only one. If we see another one that comes up for auction, I did some research, I have not seen another one, maybe we can definitely determine whether it's a type 1 or type 3. The backing's not going to help. A lot of times that helps. But very cool to own a Joe DiMaggio, 18 years old, San Francisco Seals. Now, Joe DiMaggio, man, when I was a kid, old timers would have arguments. Who was a better player, Joe DiMaggio or Willie Mays? Man, if people in San Francisco, old timers love homegrown players. Joe DiMaggio, born in the Bay Area, grew up, lived in the Bay Area. Actually, he bought his parents a house in the Marina Green area by Fisherman's Wharf. That house is still standing. Actually, when his parents passed away, he lived at that house, and it's about 3 blocks from where my son lives. And I go by there once in a while walking my son's dog, so it's really cool to actually see where he actually lived. And there's a park named after Joe DiMaggio in San Francisco. He used to have a restaurant when he was playing in San Francisco in Fisherman's Wharf. So I thought, you know what, man, Joe DiMaggio, even though he played for the Yankees, he's homegrown. Now I'm going to show you some cards here. I don't know if I've shown these before, but I got some cards of his, 1940 play ball. And talking about eye appeal, everyone's talking about eye appeal nowadays. Actually, eye appeal's been around forever. And this is definitely eye appeal for a 1. I think this might be my favorite card of his. We have the Propagandist 46. Beautiful. Again, a 1. This one you don't see every day. It's an Oakland A's 1969 when he was a coach. It says Oakland A's. This was a team issue. Sometimes on the flip label you're going to see it'll say Anderson, 1969 Anderson Oakland A's. He was the photographer. Sometimes you're going to see Jack in a Box Oakland A's. It was a team issue. With him being a coach in 1968 and 69, and since he lived after his retirement in the Bay Area, to maximize his pension, he decided to work with the A's as a hitting coach and special advisor to Charles Finley. And it's blank back here. Reggie Jackson has a card in the set that's you're definitely going to pay up for. Here's his 39 play ball. And man, this just pops with the black background. And I have his 48 leaf that's definitely off center, but beautiful, beautiful card. So Joe DiMaggio. And lastly, when I was at Fisherman's Wharf about about a week ago, and they have that on one of the piers. They have a penny arcade. Well, in the old days it would be called a penny arcade, but they still call it a penny arcade. And it's been around since I was a kid. And they have all these old games. Whether you have this laughing lady, you look at it in a movie screen, all kinds of old baseball games, and they actually have a refurbished exhibit machine, card machine, and vending machine. And so I ended up pulling, believe it or not, a Babe Ruth exhibit card out of this exhibit supply machine. And here it is right here. Look at that. Now I had to pay a little bit more for this, and I had to pay a whole $1 for this card. So actually the machine worked great. You can see it looks like the photos are stacked up and they just drop down, and this comes out in gem mint condition. So that was my big purchase of the week. So I'm so thrilled to get this Joe DiMaggio seals in a seals uniform as an 18-year-old. And like I said, we may never know. I saved a ton of money because of it being type 3. And I'm no expert when it comes to photos. The only thing, I've seen a lot of photos, so I can kind of get a general idea. You can definitely see a lot of times sometimes a type 3 photo is really obvious that it's a duplicate. This one's not so obvious. Just the clarity's a little off. And hey, thanks for watching. This is Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Bye.